Good morning. It's Brian here from the Art of Startup War. We are back for all of you investors out there who are looking for phenomenal startups to be able to invest in. And you're thinking, Expert Dojo invested in them. Brian is very picky about the companies that he invests in, which he is. Brian works really closely with these companies, so he knows when they're getting good, which I do. And you're looking to see which are the great ones. And I've got a wonderful company for you today. I've got a phenomenal entrepreneur. And it's really great because within early stage startup, it's all about innovation, with innovation. And actually, this company is about innovation inside innovation. So we're going to look at all of the great innovative tools and ways that companies can become stronger and better and more prepared for the future, and how this company has actually put this together. So the company is X Future. Meet is here. We're going to talk through the hero's journey. So we're going to start off with the genesis of the idea, where it came from, how you felt that you had the ability to actually execute this. We're then going to talk about some of the tough times that you went through at the beginning, and then like ease that through to looking at how the product fit suddenly became this beautiful, scalable product fit, and then how we took in the investment. Suddenly people started believing in you. We invested in you, of course, as did other people, and that will take us to where we are today. So let's go back. Is that okay, Amit? And just tell us,
Yeah,
first
all
of all,
excited.
welcome to the show. And then tell us how it all began. What possessed you to decide to work 18 hours a day for no salary?
No salary. Yeah, that's a good point to start with. Yeah, entrepreneur journey is
Yeah.
starting with no salary. So Brian, yeah, I spent a decade plus in mergers and acquisitions. Work with the largest consulting firms, banks, Citibank, PwC, etc. And what I saw was that there was a huge gap between the way the corporates were pursuing innovation, the way they were approaching, and the magnitude at which they want to kind of solve challenges at their end. But at the same time, they were not agile. They were not willing to take a risk. And then the startup, on the other hand, were doing all this great work, great innovations, bringing new ideas, not new thoughts. And there was no better way to do a collaboration. So each one was doing the same thing again and again. So I did a bunch of projects with large companies like Volkswagen, GE, and learned that you're doing the same thing again. Everyone is opening up their innovation lab. Everyone is trying to figure it out where and how and what to do. But in the entire thing, what was missing is that why are we doing this? So everyone started questioning that, hey, what are you doing? And I want to kind of figure that out. But the most important question was, why were the startup innovating? What was the reason, or what were the pain points they felt that they want to solve? And I started kind of then collaborating with startups and then working along with the corporates and figuring it out that, hey, is there a gap and which we can solve? So did few projects, and we saw phenomenal results out of those. So we saw that the projects which were anticipated to kind of get digitally transformed in like a 2 years time frame, we were able to kind of do that in 6 months. So the shortening of the digital transformation or adoption of new technologies became much faster, and most importantly, an inspiration on what is happening in every corner of the world. So that kind of led me to kind of see that, hey, can we build this as a platform where we can bring at one end all these innovative technology companies in every part of the globe, research universities, R&D studies, etc., on the platform. And then on the other end, it becomes a plug and play for corporates to come, get inspired, and see what's happening in any, with the new technology, new innovations, and then implement those in their organizations and scale it to a level that they are able to implement and take the
Okay.
benefit and advantage of that.
Okay. So let me stop you for 1 second, because
Yep.
people who will be listening to this will be thinking, okay, hang on a sec. I was listening here, and he made a very strong and important point, which is that corporations all around the world and smaller companies that are becoming large corporations, the struggle with innovation. It's really tough, right? Because they don't come from a place of innovation. They came from a place of information, but they don't come from the place today. Today, these organizations come from a place of process. And then so it's very hard for them to dig into these. So everybody's going to agree. Everybody's going to be saying, I got you immediately. Companies find it hard to streamline the process of bringing the maximum and most impactful innovation into their organizations. But then they're like, oh, did you just say that you can do this and you can do this in a fraction of the time? Like, how does that work? So dig in a little bit and just explain, like, how did you come up with this secret sauce to be able to help an organization implement innovation in a much more streamlined and quicker way? And even more incredibly, how did you build that into a platform that companies are able to do?
So this is an interesting journey. So let me take you through some case studies. Right? So I won't be able to get into the case study per se, but we started
Beautiful.
doing a work for Unilever. So what we realized that for a particular challenge which Unilever wanted to solve, uh, there were 25 odd solutions who were trying to solve the same problem, or the startups were trying to solve the same problem from a different perspective. So before us, right, what was happening is that you will meet one or two ideas. The person who's there in the organization would feel that, hey, this is the way I want to implement or take SAP or XYZ and
Uh-huh.
streamline the processes. And that was the approach before, and that would take their time, process, and kind of ultimately try to digitize that. But we said, wait a minute. I mean, that's not the right way to do it. Why don't we first evaluate what's there in the world which is trying to solve the same problem from a different perspective? And then what we realized that some of the problems which were core, right? Unilever being operating in multiple countries across the globe, we found a startup in Africa, a startup in Mexico, a startup in Argentina, trying to solve that problem altogether from a different perspective, which no one thought, because they understood the problem altogether from their local geography perspective.
Mm.
Easy to do, a kind of a way where they can fit into those solutions even from a lowest budget point of view. And then once we kind of understood this, from the same problem could be solved from a different perspective, we combined those to figure it out that, hey, with all this learning we've gained, how do we now solve the problem? And then we realized that the problem could be solved in a much easier and a much faster manner, because you now get inspiration from different ways to do it. So the secret sauce here was to first know what is the right approach to kind of solve the problem. And therefore you need to kind of really understand from the psyche of all these different entrepreneurs in different parts of the world. You may not work with the startup in a geography where you are not comfortable. It might not be a mature solution, but that understanding about how you could do it kind of really saved a lot of time and energy, and the way we were gathering the data, in the way we were trying to solve those things. So that entire process actually reduced the overall execution and the implementation from like few years to few months, because we got ready-made inspiration from few places and then we implemented those. So
Yeah,
those.
and also just on that point, it's actually not just about streamlining it. It's also about getting better innovation, because the challenge is this: if you look at every single potential aspect or opportunity for that innovation on its own merits as one individual project each time, it's very hard to actually be able to pull them all together and to get some kind of common information from them. While if you have a platform that allows you to be able to actually look at these things as one whole, then it simplifies it. And really, that's what you're doing for these organizations. You're simplifying something which is incredibly intangible.
And Brian, on top of it, right? So based on our data, right? So what we have seen so far, 85% of the challenges are similar in the organization. So we picked up FMCG as a sector. We picked up financial services in a sector. So 8,000 banks across the globe have a similar challenges. Their challenges are not different, right? All of them want to retain the customers. All of them want to kind of digitize their processes. All of them want to kind of have more secure way of doing the transaction. So the challenges are more or less the same in each of this segment if you look at from that perspective. Now,
Mhm.
what is happening is everyone was trying to go and do their own innovation and all, do their own R&D. So what we did is from a platform or from a scalability perspective. We bought the use cases or what we call as the challenges in these sectors, which is like the most common challenges, and kind of got these solutions around that. So what we are seeing is that repetitively one bank after the another, and then the third bank and the fourth bank, or one FMCG after the another, and the second FMCG is able to pick up those use challenges what we've already built, take look at the solutions, get inspired and implement, rather than reinventing the wheel again and again, wherein a corporate will come, evaluate 10, 20, 30 solutions, then try to figure it out what is the right way, and then do it. Why to do that entire journey while the problem is the same? You're not competing amongst yourself in terms of how to digitize your operations. You're competing yourselves in terms of the product. So whilst you want to kind of do those simple basic stuff in the most fast and the simplest manner, rather than trying to reinvent, there is a better way to do it. So
Yeah,
that is
fantastic.
helping us kind of scaling that very fast.
So
And then you're
it
taking the
makes sense,
learning.
right? And you did learning, and it all becomes something that just continues to grow and stay within the organization and the platform. So it makes entire sense what you're doing, but actually saying it is much more simple than actually building it. So to build something like this is incredibly complicated. Actually, this is what's so wonderful about the paradox of life, is like, to make the things which are the simplest things in the entire world, you have to build the most complicated algorithms or platform to make sure it happens. So how did you go about doing that? Where did you get the expertise? Now, because I'm guessing you started it with your mind saying, hang on, if we built a process around that, it would look like this and we could get better outcomes. And then you got better outcomes on multiple occasions. And then you thought, I need to create what I'm thinking all of the time in one simple automated process. But talk us through a little bit about how that iterated.
So it all started with the team. So when I had this idea and I kind of saw this problem firsthand when I was doing all this consulting, I wanted a right team who can do it. So I was lucky that I was able to find Donna and Ravi as a co-founders. Ravi comes from a product background. He has built multiple products in a time at scale with large organizations. Donna comes from a processes background. She's kind of done SaaS processes for 15 years. So I think we gelled around from a perspective that, this entire platform, from a technology perspective, how do we bring, and from the processes perspective, how does this organization do? We actually spoke to 50 plus organizations before even building this tool, to understand that what are the processes, or how are the journeys they go through if they want to implement any innovation, or they want to kind of adopt new technologies. So that learning, Donna was able to kind of interview corporate after corporate to kind of just figure it out, what is the right process we could build so that they are able to do it. So that learning helped us a lot to actually do it. And then we were lucky that we were able to get early backers like Unilever of the world who supported us, AB InBev supported us in terms of
Small,
going
very,
through this
very
process.
small
Yeah,
companies, right? Very small
yeah,
companies. That
yeah.
is
So we were lucky that we were able to do it. And once we did that successfully for them, it became much easier now, because now we go and tell that we have already done this thing. So now getting clients repetitively is becoming much, much easier, because now you have proved that this is the process works, the processes, and the way we are approaching this is working. And then in fact, I am today in India, in Ahmedabad, and we are one of the fastest growing Indian defense company. I think I met them, and that's one of the largest. Adani Group is one of the largest group in India now, growing very fast. And I mean, the way we understood and when we approach, and they became receptive to what we're talking. And we're saying that, hey, there's innovation in every part of the globe. And they're saying that, hey, sitting just here in India, we won't be able to see innovation in Israel. We won't be able to see innovation in, say,
Mm.
Japan, Tokyo, Africa. And you're the platform who brings us to our door in terms of what is happening. And we have huge plans to implement those. So that kind of story and that kind of inspiration we're getting every day. I've been meeting governments, I've been meeting state governments. Everyone wants to do it, but no one has a process. In our platform fits in everything, and you create a use case, and then you'll be able to kind of implement those.
Right. And for those of you who are listening, for people who listen to the Art of Startup War all the time, for those of you investors who do that, you know that we are incredibly bullish on India. We're incredibly bullish on the developers over there, only because we see them, we know them, we see them turn into angels, we see them turn into big venture capitalists. We've seen what's happened over the last 15 years. It's like no surprise to us. that the companies have gone absolutely crazy as far as a scaling perspective and unicorn perspective. Same thing within other regions as well. For those of you who don't know it, you definitely need to check into this. There are so many advantages from the cost of building this. If we were building something like this over in San Francisco or Santa Monica, forget about it. It's too expensive, too difficult to get the staff online and build it through. So the fact that it's getting built in a really low cost, high scale way, the fact that it's getting hit with immediate Unilever monster companies that are taking this on board and bringing it in. And I think also what's kind of really wonderful here is the timing, because innovation is the lifeblood of companies. We've always said that, but the pace of innovation previously was slower. You could be a large company and you could be relatively ineffective on innovation and you could survive. So let's talk about media companies as a great example, like TV companies, cable companies. Like, you could have survived if you had a good product. The problem they all have is that the pace of innovation is increasing exponentially. So fast forward the next 5 or 10 years, forget about it. You're dead. If you're not staying ahead of innovation, you're gone. I don't care what you are. You can be whatever multi-billion-dollar company that you think, you are gone. Metaverse will come in, digital money will come in, social will come in, experiential will come in. The world is changing in a way. It's getting smaller, it's getting more compact, it's getting more complicated, and you have to be ahead. So talk to me about what you're
So
seeing
Brian,
within customers. Go on, yeah.
on that point, I want to kind of add a little more. So in just last 2 weeks since I'm here in India, I did 4 partnerships, large. So currently we are looking at Future Tech Innovation Lab as part of the X Future, and we have signed up some partnerships where now we have got access to blockchain, AI, metaverse, Web3 companies, and there are like 500 startups out there in India, and there is like
Mm.
digital payments, etc., which is happening around, and we got this access to all of them by setting up those things. So those partnerships makes us really, really incredible. Anyone in the world who's lying to look at these Indian startups, I think come to our platform. You really don't need to go anywhere. We have kind of looped in all of this from a Future Tech Innovation Lab perspective. So, and that's incredible thing. Research universities currently, with just the support of the Prime Minister of India, PMO has this unit called Scientific PSS, which is like a scientific association, which is connected with all the R&D universities, all the IITs in the Indian Institute of Technology and other research universities, which that we were able to bring all together, like 47 large R&D universities and the labs and the things which will be wanted to do any kind of an R&D or the projects we will be able to kind of implement through them. So this is huge. So because it met many times corporates in different parts of the globe, anywhere in the world, are looking at this R&D, scientific research, association, startups, and we are the platform which can provide all of the access to all of them just kind of at a single click. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to tell that yeah, this is incredibly powerful to kind of get into any one of these things.
It's actually such an exciting time right now. It really is. Like, we live in the world of early stage startup, which is exciting in general, but there's never been such a pace of innovation as there is right now on every single level. Like, you talk about metaverse, talk about Web3, digital currency. Look, you say, X future is makes me think of space as well. So like,
Yeah.
it's all happening and you're right in the forefront of it. What did you do? Obviously, we invested. It was a very simple decision for me. I looked at the quality of you. I looked at your ability to execute. I looked at the sheer size and ambition of what you were building. And so for me, it was a no-brainer. And I saw what you had actually already put in place. I thought it was phenomenal. And I remain. The only difference between now and before is I'm more excited now than I was even when we put the investment into in the first place. But talk to us about your investment journey in general.
So we raised funds, Brian. After you, we raised funds from few strategic investors. So I think people who have invested in us believe in the larger story of why this could become a platform which will be the go-to platform for all the innovations like the corporates would want to do it. We are trying to become a digital plus plus a physical place. So we are kind of now got a proposal from an investor who want us to set up a innovation lab in Silicon Valley where we
Ooh.
would be able to kind of also bring corporates who want to kind of test on all those kind of stuff. So I think the journey has been phenomenal. The backers who've invested now, Agility Ventures, India Accelerator Ventures, IV Ventures, they've all invested with the belief that this is the future, and they want to join the X future. So to be part of this new wave of startups, new wave of innovation which is happening there.
How
Strategically,
exciting.
yeah, it is very exciting. It is really good, and at the same time, the way I look at it, right, we are the gateway to into the new technologies for things, because unlike any VC, which will have a limited portfolio, we currently have 650 odd startups on our platform, and these are at a various stage of maturity, right? Even a startup which has raised $1 billion on a platform, which means that gives us an access on what is happening, who's getting the business, why are they getting the business, why corporates are, they're able to solve those things. So the kind of sheer kind of data and the understanding we are able to get because of this makes us in a position that, we will be able to kind of, really position ourselves as a platform where people would want to kind of just invest in it, just because to kind of they also want to know and understand where things are going. So we become the gateway for them. So that's huge for a lot of strategic investors, and that's what we're getting at this point in time.
Excellent. And how much have you raised so far, and how much are you looking
So
to raise?
we've raised 500K so far,
Hmm.
and we are looking to raise another 500K at this point in time, because we're not burning a lot of money. We've been doing revenue at a steady growth now. So that's about it. So 500K is another I'm trying to raise, and then build it to a scale that we will be able to raise a Series A.
Wonderful. And what's
And
so
I know
incredible?
that you did mention in the discussion which I had, you were saying that give me a specific date when which you will do these things. So kind of September 2023 is still the date. So it is not within 18 months. It is not within 24. September 2023 is written on that white paper at the office that we want to raise. So we are chasing that.
So a Series A by next year, and then so let's go into the traction. Like I just love innovate. I love what you do. I love how you're doing it. I love how you're codifying the entire process to make it simpler for people and stopping it becoming about their personality and turning it into about the innovation itself and getting to the best innovation in the shortest time. Like it's phenomenal to watch it. Speak to me about how you feel the revenue is going to go over the next period to get you to that Series A at the end of 2023.
So with the current ARR, we are around 600K in ARR, which looks these things, and with some of this large contracts we are able to do, it could be we could easily go to $3 million, because some of these are very large ones. So we will
Wow.
be able to do that if that close click. Otherwise, even on a conservative basis, we'll be able to go to hit a 100K. So I'm going by your target, Brian. So 100K in monthly recurring revenue is something we are chasing, and we are gradually marching towards that.
And to your point, there's so much opportunity that it could come from anywhere. And then, so how have you built the team around you? Those folks who listen to me on these podcasts, everybody knows I'm fixated on two things. I'm fixated first on cost of customer acquisition, the lifetime value, how many new inquiries we can get in the funnel, and how long does it take to close people, and then on what makes a great executing founder of a company, and that is the vision of what you're building, which you have in spades. It is being able to build an incredible team. It's making sure that the revenue comes before absolutely everything else, and it's making sure that the company has enough cash flow to go forward. You're doing a great job on the cash flow. You always have, like, you don't need money, you want money. You've got an incredible job on the vision. You know the vision, you know what's being built, you know where you're going to, and you know the customers that you're going after. You've also done an exceptional job with regards to the growth, and you continue to do that. Talk about the team and how you see that team building to get you to that Series A, where your valuation will be, I'm guessing, somewhere between 40 and $80 million.
So team, we're three co-founders, I, Donna, and Ravi. So from us, we come from a different background. So Ravi is a hardcore techie. He's built products over the years. Donna come from a processes background. She's built products. She is mainly the go-to person to kind of really understand the customer journey and figuring it out what is right in the product, and works very closely with sales and these things. With the fundraise which we did, we've hired three sales team and three really good guys. In fact, three good guys from large platforms. So there are platforms like Traction, Crunchbase. We wanted people who understand this journey, so we were able to do that. I got a couple of guys from innovation. So Mickey comes from, she's based in Japan, and she comes from Nikon Innovation Lab. There is another person we hired here in India. She comes from KPMG background. She's done consulting in innovations
Wow.
for a long time. So now we are a team of 10 people, all coming from a perspective that we understand where we can go and how we can do, and we are therefore getting these customers from this perspective. And from a broader perspective, right, that how do you reduce a sales cycle, because enterprise sales sometimes is is a longer journey, and therefore how do you reduce the sales cycle and become make it more like a fast wheel to kind of turn the customers into prospects into a customer. So what we saw that in all this learning, there are three stages in which the customer go through as a journey. So one is that the customer is thinking about what to do, right? He's like they're not too sure about where to implement, what to implement, what projects we need to take. And these are like not companies like Unilever, what we are targeting, companies who are like less than $1 billion in revenue, and therefore they want to kind of grow that too fast. We're
Mm.
targeting few second generation business owners who have come into the family. They don't want to run traditional way, but they want to kind of implement a lot of innovation in their organization. So what we did is we curated a workshop for them, where we go through this 2 day of intensive workshop along with them, just to kind of let them know what is that one area in your organization you want to change, so that it will make quantifiable difference in your organization. So with that perspective, what we are seeing is that with this workshops we are generating lot more lot more kind of inflow of people who want to really figure it out what they want to do it. Then it goes to the second stage, which is called what we call as quantification and inspiration. Once you know that I want to implement a supply chain
Hmm.
digitization in my organization, or I want to launch a new geography, or I want to diversify into a new product or a new segment, and then implement technologies around those. So once you know that this is the area where you want to pick, what we then do is we do a quantification, where we've kind of created this entire playbook where we quantify them, that what does that mean in terms of their top line, right? Are they increasing their top line by like $100 million, or are they reducing their cost, and how they're doing that? So that quantification really make them go to the board, make them feel that we are confident about it, because innovation at the end of the day is few failures that will lead to success. So many
Mm.
times what we've seen is that people try something and then they give up. But now if the aim is to save $100 million, you can afford to make some mistakes, you can afford to do some failures, some trial and errors, to kind of go to that point which will take you, or help you get to that $100 million in saving or increase it. So that quantification helps them to get this thing. And what we do is inspiration, which is on our platform. We show how others have done that. So that quantification inspiration makes them very clear that what we want to implement, and then goes to the implementation stage, where we work on with them like you can do that thing. So this stage is allowing us to get much more customers who go through this journey. So every 10 customers will do it, we'll be able to do it, and we make the money in each of the stage with this customer. So I think that is working very beautifully with us. And I can't disclose it yet now because it has not been signed, but a few of the largest consulting companies in the bun and the top ones, they want to kind of partner with us now to kind of go through and bring their customers to go through these processes and then implement, because ultimately if they implement something, they're going to make money out of this consulting as well. So that is gelling up very beautifully for us at this point in time, and that is also kind of helping us reduce the sales cycle, and we are engaging with the customers.
I love that, and I want to take it to a place where we create a vision of what the company looks like. We paint a picture of 3 to 5 years time in the future, and we look at X future, and we say, what is that absolute 100% guaranteed beautiful company going to look like? So take us there, finish us out with an overview of you doing a keynote talk about how successful you've been with this company that you've built and what impact it's had on the world and what position it's in right now. And then if you can also finish it with letting everybody have your contact details as well. And that way folks will be able to contact you. We have investors who are going to be watching this incredibly carefully. We have partners who'll be watching it very carefully, and also other people out there who might even be interested in joining. So over to you. Show us
So
the
the
future.
vision. So I think, Brian, the vision is very clear in my mind that it will be, so we will be democratizing the innovation. So the process of which we, so think about it like in few years, we will be, maybe 2,000 companies opening up digital innovation lab on the XFuture platform. They are doing entire, future tech implementations in getting inspired on the platform. They don't need to really go and set up any labs, etc. They can come and do their digital innovation lab on the Expert platform. So if 2,000 companies are creating those innovation lab on a platform, they're seeing those solutions, they're implementing those things, this becomes incredibly powerful. That is how we'll be able to democratize it every corner of the world. It should not be there with just Silicon Valley. It should not be there with just kind of few hands, but any corporate in any part of the globe who wishes to kind of implement technologies that come and set up, they will be able to set up a innovation lab on our platform, and they will be able to do it. That becomes very powerful, and that's how we'll be able to democratize the entire innovation for anyone who want to implement those. So that's the vision with which we're building this platform, and we want to kind of reach that.
Fantastic. And for people who want to contact you,
yeah, they can contact me at Amit, AMIT, T as in tiger, at thexfuture.com, which is the THEXfuture.com. And if they want to just reach out to me on LinkedIn, they can look at Amit Jain /XFuture, and I will be there. And if there is a phone number, then 408-930-5063. I'm based in Silicon Valley, Cupertino. I live in Cupertino, which is by default the center of those innovation, and then happy to catch and talk more about what we can do together.
Wonderful. Listen, Amit, it's always a pleasure. I love what you're doing. You are building my dream, which is a center of innovation in the world, which makes it simple and easy and get out to the entire planet. I love the fact that we've invested in you. I think you're doing an incredible job. You're building, you're growing, you're creating your team, you're pulling everything together. And I couldn't be more happy. For everybody outside, obviously you can contact me, but you can also contact me, Brian, here at Expert Dojo. I'm always happy to give information, share diligence on what we went through when we were making the decision ourselves. And otherwise, it just leaves me to say, go and build that incredible future that we all want.
The XFuture, yeah.
The XFuture,
Thank you, Brian. Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks a lot, Brian.